Hello, Scorpio. As we step into the energies of the 16th of August, I want you to understand that what is approaching is not just another lunar movement, but a fundamental turning point in the rhythm of your inner and outer life. The moon is preparing to leave Taurus, an earth sign that has kept you grounded, deliberate, and connected to the tangible world, and is about to enter Gemini, an air sign that invites speed, curiosity, and intellectual expansion. For you, this shift is not random. It's part of a larger cosmic sequence, beginning with the last quarter moon in Taurus, a phase that insists on release, on clearing the weight of attachments that no longer serve you, before allowing your mind to open to the lightness and mental agility of Gemini. For days, you may have felt the heaviness in your body, a physical density, a craving for security, the comfort of the familiar, but this is Taurus making its final imprint, drawing your awareness to where you have been holding on too tightly. As the moon transitions, this grounded energy gives way to movement and thought, a mental quickening that feels almost like a change in the atmosphere around you. In Gemini, the moon engages your mind directly, urging you to examine, connect, and articulate truths that may have been silently building within you. For Scorpio, a sign that often navigates life through depth, instinct, and emotional intensity, this shift from body to mind can feel like lifting a veil. Suddenly, you see the patterns, the connections, the unspoken messages with striking clarity. This is not about abandoning the emotional wisdom you carry, but about translating it into conscious understanding and purposeful dialogue. The last quarter moon in Taurus provides the closure, the necessary grounding before departure, and Gemini offers the bridge into a more flexible, communicative state of being. Together, they create a window for transformation, one that will challenge you to loosen your grip on what feels safe so you can fully engage with what's possible. This is the kind of astrological moment that reshapes how you interpret your own reality. Scorpio, and the way you interact with the world will not be quite the same once this shift has settled. The question is whether you will allow the transition to flow through you or whether you will try to hold the tide still. And as always, the cosmos will move, with or without your permission, but your willingness to work with it will define the quality of the changes to come. Scorpio, in the hours leading up to this shift, you may notice a tangible weight in your body, not simply fatigue, but a kind of gravitational pull that keeps you anchored to what feels solid and familiar. This heaviness is the moon's final imprint in Taurus, heightening your awareness of the routines, possessions, and patterns you have grown attached to. You might find yourself moving more slowly, seeking comfort foods, lingering in familiar spaces, or craving physical reassurance. It is important not to misinterpret this as a signal to resist change. Instead, see it as the body's way of showing you exactly where you've been holding on too tightly, giving you a clear point of release before the energy changes. Allow yourself to fully register this weight, because once the moon crosses into Gemini, it will dissolve quickly, like waking from a vivid dream you can't quite hold on to. And when that moment comes precisely at midday, the shift will be immediate. Your thoughts will feel sharper, the fog will lift, and the mental stillness of the morning will give way to a sudden rush of connections and ideas. It may feel as if the air itself has changed, carrying with it fragments of insight and threads of conversation you had long forgotten, now weaving themselves into a clearer picture. This mental quickening can be exhilarating, offering you perspectives and solutions that seemed unreachable just hours before. But it can also scatter your focus if you let curiosity pull you in too many directions at once. As a Scorpio, your strength lies in depth rather than breadth. So the challenge here will be to anchor this influx of mental energy to a purpose that matters, choosing carefully which ideas to follow and which to let pass. This is the moment to direct your sharpened awareness toward the truths that have been waiting for your attention and to begin shaping them into the next phase of your story. Scorpio, as the moon settles into Gemini, something subtle yet profound will begin to happen in your mind. Fragments of old conversations will surface without warning. Words spoken weeks or even months ago will echo back with a resonance they didn't have at the time. It might be a casual remark from a friend, a cryptic comment from a colleague, or something you overheard in passing. Now, under this mercurial influence, those words begin to align like pieces of a puzzle you didn't know you were solving. The meaning sharpens, patterns emerge, and you suddenly understand what was truly being communicated beneath the surface. This is not nostalgia, it's your subconscious revealing stored information at the precise moment you're ready to interpret it. These recollections are not random, they are strategic messages from the universe, meant to direct your next steps if you're willing to pay attention. At the same time, your intuitive center shifts into a new mode of operation. Where once your instincts were felt in the body, a tightening in the gut, a heaviness in the chest, now they arrive as images, symbols, and fully formed ideas in the mind's eye. You may notice a gentle pressure or warmth between your brows, fleeting flashes of light, or sudden visions that carry an undeniable sense of truth. This is your third eye activating under the combined influence of the Gemini moon and the supportive Venus North Node alignment. For a sign like yours, already attuned to hidden currents, this heightened mental intuition can feel like gaining access to a higher frequency of information. You might find yourself knowing details you were never told, or glimpsing possible outcomes before events unfold. This isn't imagination, Scorpio, it's your perception expanding beyond the physical, offering you a clearer vantage point from which to navigate the days ahead. The real question is whether you will trust what you see, even if it challenges the way you've understood reality until now. Scorpio, with the moon now fully engaged in Gemini, the energy between you and others will begin to move in ways it hasn't for some time. Conversations that once felt stuck, where every attempt at resolution circled back to the same impasse, will suddenly find momentum. Words that had been trapped in your throat, perhaps too sharp, too vulnerable, or too complex to express, will now find the exact shape they need to be understood. This is not just about speaking more, it's about speaking with precision, selecting language that cuts through misunderstanding without cutting into the person you're speaking to. You may notice yourself navigating emotionally charged discussions with greater agility, able to balance honesty with tact in a way that invites connection rather than defensiveness. This opening is amplified by Mars moving through Libra, lending you the courage to address what matters while keeping the scales balanced. Whether in love, family, or professional dynamics, the door is wide open for clarifying truths, negotiating solutions, and reestablishing trust. For a Scorpio, whose intensity can sometimes intimidate or overwhelm, this is a rare chance to bring others closer without diminishing the depth of what you need to say. Between noon and mid-afternoon, the communicative field is at its strongest. Words land more softly, listening becomes more genuine, and mutual understanding feels within reach. Some relationships will experience a turning point in these hours, where one well-chosen sentence changes the trajectory entirely. Others will find resolution not because something new was said, but because what has always been true is finally heard and accepted. This is your moment to speak from the place where insight meets intention, and to watch how quickly the energy between you begins to shift. Scorpio, one of the more curious effects of this transition will be the way you perceive time itself. On the morning of the 16th of August, under the final hours of the Taurus moon, you may feel as though the clock is moving slower than usual, minutes stretching into what feels like hours. Your movements deliberate, your mind anchored firmly in the present. This is Taurus holding you in place, giving you the space to process, release, and ground before the change comes. It can feel almost heavy, as if the day is reluctant to begin. But this slowdown serves a purpose. It ensures you don't rush past what still needs to be acknowledged or let go. Then, as the moon enters Gemini at noon, the pace shifts abruptly. The afternoon will seem to accelerate, conversations will flow quickly, and your thoughts will race ahead, covering more ground in a few hours than they have in days. You might look up and realize an entire afternoon has passed in what felt like moments. For you, Scorpio, this can create a sensation of having lived two entirely different days in one, the first slow and contemplative, the second fast and mentally charged. This temporal distortion is not just a quirk of perception, it's a reflection of the energy moving from fixed earth to mutable air, from stillness to motion. If you pay attention, you'll notice that both speeds have their role: the morning for deep release and inner clarity, the afternoon for forward movement and mental expansion. Understanding this rhythm allows you to work with it rather than against it, using the day's contrasting tempos to both clear the past and embrace what's next. Scorpio, by the time the sun sets on the 16th of August, you may look the same to the outside world, but internally something essential will have shifted in a way that cannot be undone. The combination of the Taurus last quarter moon and the Gemini ingress is not a temporary mood swing, it is a structural reset in how your mind processes information, how you form and express your thoughts, and how you perceive your place within the unfolding story of your life. The release earlier in the day strips away outdated attachments, rigid patterns, and lingering beliefs about safety and worth, clearing a space that the Gemini energy immediately fills with new mental pathways and fresh perspectives. For you, Scorpio, this recalibration runs deep. Your natural way of engaging with life through intensity, emotional depth, and strategic focus will now be supplemented with greater mental flexibility and sharper articulation. You may notice that thoughts which once felt heavy or tangled now move with more clarity, that conversations once avoided now seem approachable, and that your awareness naturally seeks connections and possibilities you might have dismissed before. The Venus North Node trine, perfecting just hours after the shift, adds a karmic layer, ensuring that the changes align with your long-term soul trajectory rather than being fleeting distractions. This is the kind of astrological turning point that redefines your inner operating system. The old thought loops will feel increasingly incompatible with who you are becoming, and attempts to return to them will be met with resistance from your own evolving mind. The choice you face is not whether you will change that is already in motion, but whether you will step willingly into the fuller, clearer version of yourself that this day is designed to reveal. Scorpio, this moment is not simply a shift to be observed, it is an opening to be stepped into with intention. The energy of the 16th of August is a clear invitation to evolve, to let the old scaffolding of your mind fall away so a more responsive, aligned structure can take its place. If you cling to what is familiar, insisting on operating from the same patterns and assumptions that have kept you safe but stagnant, you will quickly feel out of sync with the flow around you. Opportunities for connection may pass you by. Conversations may lose their potency, and the clarity that is trying to emerge will be muffled by the weight of resistance. But if you choose to lean into the transition, to allow the release, to welcome the mental quickening, and to trust the new perspectives arriving, you will find yourself thinking more clearly, moving more decisively, and speaking with a precision that draws others into genuine understanding. Your ability to adapt will sharpen without diluting your depth, allowing you to meet change, not as a threat but as an ally. The more you work with this current, the more naturally you will align with your soul's long-term objectives, sensing not just where you are meant to go, but also why the path matters. This is not about surrendering your identity, Scorpio, it's about refining it, stripping away what no longer represents you so that the essence of who you are can operate at full capacity. The universe is not asking for blind trust, it is offering a collaborative movement forward. The choice is yours. But the cost of staying still will be far greater than the uncertainty of moving with the tide. Scorpio, As we close this chapter on what is set to unfold on the 16th of August, I want you to see this day not as a passing astrological event, but as a turning point that will ripple into the weeks and months ahead. The moon's departure from Taurus and entry into Gemini is more than a shift in atmosphere. It is a deliberate recalibration designed to help you release the weight of what has been holding you back and to step into a more agile, perceptive, and connected version of yourself. Every stage of this day carries meaning: the slow, grounding hours of the morning, offering you the space to shed outdated attachments; the midday ignition of mental clarity, propelling you into fresh insights; the sudden breakthroughs in communication, clearing pathways between you and others; the intuitive opening that lets you see beyond the limits of your physical senses; and the unmistakable sense by evening that something inside you has changed for good. This is not a process you can rush, nor is it one you can avoid. The energy will move with or without your cooperation, but your willingness to participate will shape the quality and depth of what you gain. If you resist, the heaviness will linger and the clarity will be fleeting. If you accept, you will find yourself moving in harmony with a current that knows exactly where it's taking you. You will speak with more purpose, think with more clarity, and connect with others in ways that feel both lighter and more profound. For a sign like yours, rooted in transformation, this is fertile ground, the kind that grows not just change, but evolution. So, as the hours unfold on this day, be present for each phase. Listen to your body in the morning. Open your mind at noon. Trust your intuition in the afternoon. And by nightfall, acknowledge the new version of yourself that has begun to emerge. This is your moment to bridge the depth you are known for with the adaptability that will carry you forward. Step into it fully. Scorpio, the universe is offering you more than just a shift in the stars. It's offering you a shift in the way you live your life.